Well, the story of the women of Lockerbie is a story of closure, and it's about an event that took place 7 years after the Lockerbie crash, the Lockerbie explosion of the Pan Am flight that was exploded over Lockerbie, Scotland. And it was 7 years later, and there were still lots of wreckage and refuse, and particularly clothing that was being stored by the American government in a warehouse in Lockerbie. And the story is of the women of that small little town who wanted to get the clothing out, wash it, return it to the families so that they could have closure as well as the American families could have closure.
I actually saw it performed last year. My mother performed the part of Olive. My husband and I went back east, and both my brother and my mother were both performing in different plays. And it had such an effect on me. And I'm not just seeing my mother act because she's been an actress my whole life, so I'm used to watching her act. But she was really amazing in the piece, and then the whole piece just really had a huge emotional effect on me. Like the whole time I was watching it, I was like, I have to do this piece again. I have to see it done again. I have to bring it to life again. I have to show other people this piece.
The story of this play actually starts 7 years after the tragedy, where they're at a memorial service, or it's just after the memorial service actually, and there are people who are wandering the hills. One character in particular she's been in mourning for 7 years, and she is looking for remains of her son. Now, obviously, after 7 years, the remains of her son will not be there, but she's inconsolable, and that's where she's starting. On the same night, the American government has ordered in fuel trucks to come in and to burn all the refuse that's still left over from the crash. And so the two stories are the woman finding her own closure, but the women of Lockerbie themselves trying not to let that happen, trying to do something else.
I feel like in this day and age, we read headlines every morning about terrorist attacks or school shootings, and they become numbers, and we become rather numb to them. And this play takes these tragic things that can happen to people and personalize them, and it personalized them into poetry almost. It's written as a Greek tragedy, but a very modern one that's easy to digest and easy to watch. But it's so filled with detail, which I really, really feel like is important, because I really feel, like I said, we become numb to these kind of tragedies that happen every day, and this piece takes a specific tragedy and not only personalizes it for the victims and the victim families, but where it takes place. This happens in a very small town in Scotland, and even though the characters are fictional, it's all based on real events, and so it's interesting to find out what happens to the town and the town's people, because we don't really often think of that. What happens to the woman who has her house demolished by this? Though maybe she didn't lose her life, or maybe she didn't lose her son's life, but her farm is gone. Or she was a witness, or he was a witness to this gruesome attack, and to dead bodies, and even picking up body parts, and what that's like, and how you come over something like that, and how you grieve through that as well.
The play is important to be seen at Fringe, because one, you don't usually get a lot of stories of a serious nature at Fringe. It tends to be a lot of funny shows, or lots of interesting one-person shows. And why this story is important is that it's never too late to get closure. It's never too late to find the thing that will put your heart at ease and put your heart at rest. And that even though you never think that there is a chance for redemption or forgiveness, it's always there. And you just need to find a way to grab it and make it happen. And I think that's a lesson that anyone can learn.